Okay. Hello, and today this presentation is going to be about how female athletes have closed the gender inequality gap in recent years. The claim presented today is that female athletes have recently taken great strides toward achieving equality by fighting for equal pay, garnering more opportunities, and striving for more media coverage. Such strides can be seen on the graph as more female athletes were starting to join a sports program at the collegiate level over time. On the first slide, the fight for equal pay says female athletes have always been severely underpaid, making about 77 cents per every dollar that a man makes. But as of recently, there have been many movements that are trying to reverse this trend. The United States women's national soccer team has had successful pushes towards equality, such as getting more bonuses, benefits, base compensation, and a higher number of guaranteed contracts for the players. This has inspired Australia's women's soccer team to do similar things by successfully getting equal pay and commercial revenue the men's team has. This calls for more pushes to be made by other women organizations around the world. The Women's National Basketball Association has started to revolutionize their pay as well, with players protesting to gain better wages so that going overseas for extra salary isn't necessary anymore. They have also implemented a system to help players earn up to triple their salary under their contracts. They're going to get the help they need from the people, such as NBA players, executives, and fans, which has made the league strive for change. As seen on the graph to the right, after adding some statistical controls, women are much closer to men in their wages than what was originally seen. In their increasing opportunities, women have had many turning points, such as the 2012 Olympics, which was also referred to as the Years of the Woman, which was the highest female participation in an Olympics at the time, which has benefited female athletes to this day by continuing to allow women to have a high participation rate in the Olympics. Title IX is a huge factor in women's rights and in their sporting careers. It allowed for more women to feel comfortable playing sports, as it was seen as a thing for men beforehand, and by making more openings in the sports world for women to become athletes. As female athletes have gotten more opportunities, new role models such as Serena Williams has arisen. She has become one of the most successful athletes of all time and has shown other women that it is possible, which has inspired them even more to continue to pursue their athletic dreams. A perfect example of the increasing opportunities is shown by the sudden increase of women's participation in the Olympics, as seen on the graph. In their ever-expanding media coverage, women have gotten more notice by the media than ever before, and it is an upwards trend to continue to increase. Women are actually starting to be represented in the media now, which was unheard of back then. Movements such as You Missed It and She Breaks Barriers have stepped forward in making equality in media coverage for women possible by making sure that they get proper coverage. These movements have tried to allow for women's games to be spread around, to be seen by a larger audience, and have even talked to big sports outlets about giving the female athletes proper coverage in the media instead of the lousy job some companies have been doing. Major sport networks are now wanting to show more women's games as of late, and are now trying to find more women's games to fit into their schedules. More articles are also being written about female athletes by these networks as well, because they're starting to see that they also deserve their share of attention in the media. The graph shows how close to equality women have become in the viewership in some major tennis events, while being compared to the male viewership in the same events. The solution to this problem is to continue to take the right steps in the direction of equality by making sure that female athletes' voices can be heard. There must be consistent pushes and protests, for the athletes must be able to express themselves in order to get to the goal. However, the limitations are that statistically, men are ahead of women in many of these categories already, so trying to catch up will be very difficult to do. It may take longer than expected. The male athletes have always had the upper hand over the female athletes, as seen below, where the men are leading women in views in a multitude of different sports. So, in order to help female athletes to get equality, they would have to take big steps and be persistent in their fight. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I do have two questions for you. The first question, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and then why did you choose not to use it?
I did include many things that go against what female athletes have done until my counterclaim, because they would have contradicted lots of evidence that I gathered.
Okay, and the next question, what advice would you have for other researchers who consider a topic like this in the future?
I would say that just look at other articles and see what they do, and then go from there, because lots of the articles can point you towards other pieces of evidence that you could find very easily.